All right, everyone, welcome back to the Motive Anatomy. Eryck, first interview of 2021.
Yep.
Thank you so much, man, for making the time for us. So tell us, what do you drive?
I drive a 1990 CRX HF.
1990.
1990.
All right. Walk us back. Where did the love for cars started, and was it Honda that kind of got you in that path?
You know, I loved cars ever since I was a kid. Everyone knows about the Hot Wheels. Every little kid has it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always loved cars. I love mechanical things. Mm-hmm. And I guess it just was in my blood because my parents, they told me he's gonna modify cars one day, or at least be a fan of cars, you know, because I was all into like skateboards, bikes, like anything with wheels, you know, and I guess it's just kind of like ingrained in me, you know, I don't know, I can't help it. And then in terms of Hondas, I always respected Hondas. I love their motors. I respect their motorcycles mainly because of my neighbor riding them. I didn't get into Hondas mainly until I got this car, actually, because then I really understood and got into depth with, you know, Honda and what is a Honda and how does it drive, and that's when I really fell in love with this car, is when I actually owned it, because then I understood, you know.
Gotcha. How did you stumble up on the EF chassis? It's an older chassis, so yeah, a lot of people kind of step away from it just because of that.
What? Looks is a big thing, right? If you're gonna drive slow or fast, you better look good while doing it.
Yes.
But in my opinion, boxy design is just the best for me. Boxy hatchbacks, like the Lancia Delta, the Rabbit, VW Rabbit from Europe, like all those boxy hatches are just so attractive to me. I love straight edge designs, and the CRX or the EF, I should say, hit the money. It's perfect. I mean, the way the headlights are constructed, no bubbliness. You know, I wasn't a big fan of the EGs and the EKs. I really liked like the EK and stuff like that, but I don't know, like this is what spoke to my taste.
No, and it's so true. I mean, so many people are going to be nodding their heads like, no, I get it. The EG was a little bit more quote unquote aerodynamic, more bubbly, but a lot of us, including myself, we absolutely love these boxy looks, and that's you know, exactly. So how did you stumble up on this car?
Yeah, so this is a funny story. So originally I first drove actually my friend's EF, and I fell in love with that car. It was such a basket case. It was so bad. Sorry, Deacon, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. But anyway, I fell in love with that car. I thought, this is what I want. I really want an EF hatch. Okay, so I went out, and I knew about CRXs at the time, actually, and I just thought they were unobtainable, very expensive, and I was just kind of worried, like, you know, because they're a little bit more rare, you know, maybe they'll be harder to find parts. So I kind of just, in the back of my head, just forget about it. Looked for EF hatch, and I stumbled upon a Craigslist ad, and we still use that, can you believe that? And this was 5 years ago, or about 6 now maybe, and they only showed the front half of the car, you know, just from the end, but it was so close by, I said, forget it, we'll take a look at it, you know, and they described it in the ad as Civic EF, and I was like, whatever, and it's white, it's what I want. Okay, so we went to see it, and I roll up to the guy's shop, and I see the side profile, and I have my friend with me who had the EF too, and he's like, we're like, oh my God, it's a CRX! Holy shit! He's like, you better buy it, you better buy it. I'm like, you know what, like, almost like, I was like, oh my God, yeah, it is a CRX. I was like, holy crap, like, that's cool, you know?
Yeah.
And so we you know, we got around it, looked at it, and it looks really okay, you know, a lot dense, and, you know,
right.
That has 200K miles on it, so what do you expect? It was an HF, bone stock HF, had everything on it, just worn to the bone. I mean, you can even see the remnants of how, you know, worn out it is. But overall, the main structure was good. No rust, nothing. Dash was still intact.
Wow.
Still had the original motor, no modifications, original suspension, everything, and seats. So, but it was all destroyed. Keep that in mind. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You pick it up. What is the vision for it?
So okay, yeah. So this is kind of why I got a car to begin with to toy with. So me and my dad, we really, you know, he liked, you know, my dad's a mechanical engineer, he likes cars, and he had a Ford Pinto back in the day that he always talks about.
Wow,
you know? And he's like, yeah, you know, we should get a manual car, you know, and and stuff like that. I was like, yeah. So, you know, a couple years down the line, and you know, I figured like the EF was perfect for that because they're all mostly manual and they're really reliable, and it'd be something we could work on together, you know, and build a car, and yeah, so the vision was, you know, just to kind of have something to work on with my dad, and then unfortunately he did pass away, so he never got to see me build this car, but he did drive in it as a stock form, and that was really cool, you know.
Oh man, very sorry to hear that, man, but that's awesome.
Yeah, that's why I got this thing, because that was a vision to build something with my dad. But I tell you one thing, it wouldn't be like this if he was still alive. We'd probably go more. He was a very conservative guy, okay? We'd probably have it original HF pristine, you know, getting 60 mpg, you know?
Yeah, he would have done things right. You destroyed it. Well, maybe in the future, maybe you with your kiddos, you can maybe build something.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's get on it, man. Tell us about the front end. What do you got going on?
Okay, so the front end, yeah. So let's see. So I just picked this up recently. It's the it's from Viz. It's the Invader style carbon hood. They actually had this in stock. Can you believe that? And I actually picked it up next day and we installed it. And I've always wanted one since I was a little kid with a vent. I mean, that's like, come on, Fast and Furious. We all know.
Yeah.
A carbon hood is, you know, you made it when you have a carbon hood, right? And then I have like the aero latches, you know, to because you know I don't want this thing flying up and hitting me. Corner lights, I just have some eBay clears just to match, you know, the kind of the wheels and all that, and I'll kind of show that later. Front end's pretty much stock other than the eBay lip. And in order to keep the eBay lip kind of clean, I made my own brackets that mount this thing up, so you have no rivets or anything mounting it into the bumper.
Interesting. Okay.
So it makes it nice and clean. And if I ever smash it into a rock, I don't break the bumper, you know, stuff like that.
I like that. I like that. I like those little details.
Yeah, so something just to keep it OEM. It's all bolt plug and play kind of, you know.
Okay.
You don't have to modify anything. See, front end here, I have my own duct that I designed.
Oh, nice.
This is actually 3D printed that I made, and I'm an engineer by background, so I try to use my skills as best I can to build this car. So that's for the intake, and I just left it OEM on the other side since I don't have it. Normally that's going to be an oil cooler eventually, but we'll see when that happens. And then lastly, for the front end, we have some brake ducts that I use for the track that you could close on and off, and that's like a 3D printed adapter where normally the fog light goes there. But
yeah, right. Awesome, man.
So that's the front end, yeah.
Any future plans for the front end?
You know, I mean, I would obviously not like this eBay bumper, you know.
But good luck finding all that stuff.
Yeah, but you know, no plan. You know, honestly, I gotta say, after let's see, the end of last year, I was really happy with the way this car turned out. I mean, there's little things I'm gonna do, but it has to be right. Okay. It has to be, you know.
You're also tracking the car, so you don't want to put a, you know, very expensive lip, in my opinion. But
so recently, I just actually smashed into a massive rock on the front lip, and thank God it was this eBay one, because if it was a charge speed one,
you would have lost yours. That's awesome, man. You know. And tell us about what kind of suspension are you running?
So the suspension is actually K-Sport. K-Sport actually is funny. It was a really cheap coilover back in the day, but I've had a lot of good feedback from this, being that it was the best suspension they've ever ridden, and I'm super. K-Sport is really good. They're way more expensive now. I got it for about $600. Now they're a lot more pricey, but yeah, they're actually pretty good coilovers.
That's awesome.
And then the rest of it is a PSI upper control arms to adjust the camber and caster. And then we have, that's actually pretty much it for the front end. And then the back end has a Megan camber adjuster for the rear wheels as well. And then sway bars, I actually have the front sway bar from a EF sedan. The rear is an ST sway bar. I think that's 22 mils in the back, 19 in the front diameter. Now
the sedan sway bar fit with no modification needed?
No modifications, exactly the same. The difference is that the sedan, because of the weight, I believe, it's a little bit thicker. Yeah. It's kind of right in the middle. It's a little bit more thicker than an SI, but it's thinner than the ST sway bar that you'd get. Gotcha. Yeah, so I believe it's around 19 or so. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. And wheel and tire setup, man. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I have two sets of wheels, both SSR Type X's. This one I have on my roll in the street is the SSR Type X. This is a 15 by 6.5. And nothing too wide, just so I could, you know, not worry about damaging any fenders. I don't really like slam cars personally. Okay. And so that's why I have this set up, and the offset is 42 or 3, around there. Okay. Yeah, my favorite wheel. I mean, it's my favorite. And the tires, these are some Federal 595 Super Street or whatever. You know, they're just tires for the street. Okay, I don't. But my other car, right now I'm running the Federal Pros, RSR Pros, and it's the same wheel, just in silver. And a little bit wider spec too, wider offset, and by 7 instead of by 6.5.
And what about your brake setup? What do you have going on?
And then the brake setup, I have the 4-pot Willwoods. So we got the 2 pistons out and in. You know, the size off the top of my head, I think I forgot. It's like 9.5 inches. I forgot, unfortunately, but it's the one for the 4-pot setup. And it really changed the brakes. It made it much better to drive for sure.
It bites much better?
Oh yeah, it just, the whole brake modulation improved. It was a must, yeah.
How many times have you tracked it with the setup?
With this particular setup, twice actually. Okay. Only twice. Just with COVID, we didn't really decide to go out on the track. And plus I've been so busy with other stuff, I just haven't had the time. But before then, you know, yeah, a lot of track days.
That's awesome, cool.
So you see
and
difference.
Then little side skirts?
Side skirts, PCI.
And what is that? 4-inch, 3-inch?
It's the 4-inch.
4-inch okay.
model, yeah.
Awesome. And then the rear, obviously, very nicely.
Yeah. One little thing, these are Insight drums from a 2001 Honda Insight. So they're aluminum and they're finned, so it actually has better heat dissipation due to the natural things. Oh, one thing I want to mention too, actually, I have actually owned custom spacers, actually mostly in the front, to clear the calipers. Actually machined. I actually designed them and had a machine myself, and it's like a hub-centric spacer that is specific for these wheels, actually.
What?
So that's one thing that's kind of cool. That
really
you won't see
cool,
on any
man.
other EF. Yeah.
Awesome, man. And then the rear.
And then the rear. Okay, so yeah, the rear I have the. I believe these are from Taiwan. I don't know the manufacturer, but they're the clear tails.
And love the clear tail lights.
I got them because I thought, oh man, with the corners, it looks so great with these wheels, you know? And I love clears. I like the Honda Clarity clears, believe it or not. Don't make fun of me, okay? I really like that car's clears, and I always wanted it on my car, so that's why, you know.
No problem.
And then it's just a regular bumper, nothing done to that. No,
I feel like that. Sorry, I feel like that for the Civic Hybrid.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I liked it, but I didn't want to say it out loud. But now that you said it, now I'll say it.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I don't tell anyone that. I only tell like my close friends. But
sorry. So you were saying about the bumper?
Yeah. So the bumper is just stock, man. Nothing fancy about it.
Very clean though, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I did the body work, so I tried to freshen it up a bit. And then the spoiler, this is actually my own design. This is actually this is a prototype, so it looks really bad right now, I gotta be honest. But it's gonna be something I'll be hopefully making, producing, selling to other CRX owners. It's a spin-off off the European style, but a little bit more aggressive to help get rid of that lift in the rear end there on high speeds.
That's awesome, man.
And for exhaust, this is actually a full custom exhaust. It started off as life as eBay tubing, and we replaced everything and modified it to make it work for my needs. And yeah, the tips are just some standard tips. I don't really know, but it's all MagnaFlow, resonator, and muffler. Okay. I actually don't know the cars they come off of. It's not off for a Civic though, or a Honda. It's from like a Camaro and something else.
Really?
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah. That way, you know, for the best flow and all that. And it's all two and a half
piping?
Piping, yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. And then we got a Panda sticker because this is a black and white car. My neighbor put it on right when he got the car, and it's been on the car ever since I bought it. It was, you know,
it's meant to be
5-6 years ago. What can I describe? I mean, it's a pretty basic interior, so you can see I did leave in the front half of like the carpet and all that stuff.
I love that, by the way.
Yeah, I wanted it to be, so I wanted this car to be bad at everything. Bad at driving the street, but bad at driving the track, bad at this weight, you know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. The truth is I wanted it to be a street car that I could take to the track. So I have the Momo Monte Carlo steering wheel. I think it's the best feeling steering wheel, even though everyone has one. But
what size do you think it is?
Size? Shoot, I know it's not the small one. I can tell you that. I think 335. But I could be wrong.
I think it's very proper for the size of the car, though.
Yeah, it's perfect. I maybe a little bit bigger, but I don't think so. I like it a lot. Okay. We have some gauges there, as you can see, that I 3D printed like a piece to hold in the gauges. Those are for like water temps and all that, pressures. Sparkle Evo seats. The one thing cool about this one is that this is actually the European version. So it's for, since I have narrow hips, it's for guys like me.
Can't relate, sorry.
Yeah, so
you looked at me when you said narrow hips. You looked at me.
Oh, jeez.
Made me feel so bad. Okay.
Yeah, but it helps me, fit in better because I'm kind of, thinner.
Do they fit differently? I mean,
they fit a little different. So it's an American size shoulder width, but it's a narrower hip width.
What?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. It's for the European market.
They're just getting your back over there, huh? That's
yeah,
the world?
I guess that's why. Yeah, it's Italians,
Okay, that's cool.
Triangle shape. Yeah, the EO2s. But these are my favorite seat. Actually, I like them a lot, and I got a second one, the American style one for the passenger.
Awesome.
And then Auto Power roll bar that I picked up from the guy who works at Auto Power is really awesome, by the way, and that's why I went with them. Like, let me take a tour of his shop and everything, which was really cool.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. We have a dog bone ASR like shifter. It kind of helped me get the shift ball, you know, because I'm 6 foot, so it's this car's kind of small for me, so I need to put the shifter back a little bit.
Okay.
My friend Deacon, who actually had that original EF, let me use that, so I really appreciate it.
That's cool.
Helped a lot. Shift knob is a wooden shift knob from Etsy. I love wooden shift knobs, so some guy from Etsy makes them, and he did a really good job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we have standard fire extinguisher, and I don't know if there's anything else. I mean,
anything major for the interior plans?
Yeah, so the one thing about these cars is the climate control unit. Right now I currently have like my own 3D printed like casing for it that like helps it from breaking, but I'm going to be swapping back in a Honda Accord one from a 93 Accord. It's a kit I make, and I've been selling to other people, and yeah, I'm probably going to put that in just because this one's actually, the buns are starting to, you know, I think the circuit board's going bad, so I'm going to do replace that. But awesome. I think that's it. Everything else I'm very happy with. Yeah,
super clean, man. Love it. Let's see that K-Swap turbo.
No.
All-wheel drive, no?
I'm not that cool. All right, so
this is dope.
What we have here is just an LS motor. Nothing really fancy, I gotta be honest with you. I went with the LS motor. Well, actually, backstory. This car originally had its life as a B20 high comp from Japan, and unfortunately, I got hit by the state ref. And I had to put in something legal, unfortunately, and that was really unfortunate because that motor was the best motor I've ever had, actually. And the reason why I went LS non-VTEC is because my envision, since I am tracking this, taking to the mountains, etc., if I blow it up, I'm not gonna cry to myself to sleep that I just blew up a B16, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and I like linear, you know, I appreciate VTEC a lot, believe me. It's just, this was just in my price point at the time. And it's very reliable, and I can just abuse it. Nothing fancy, I gotta be honest with you. It looks OEM, except the intake, I guess. Okay. The transmission is Integra Type R transmission, nice. So I guess that's the most important part of this car. That transmission makes the car. If it wasn't for this transmission, this car would not perform the way I'd want it, for sure.
Okay, you know? So you enjoy the shifting, the ratio, and all that stuff.
For me, the transmission is the most important part of the car.
Gotcha.
Motor's next. That's and you know, has the LSD and all everything. But everything else, you know, is stock. I got a Skunk 2 radiator that, you know, just because I needed a new one. Yeah, the Hasport mounts to help mount this in. Everything else is basically stock. I have the stock booster still.
That's cool, man.
You know, and the intake piping is kind of custom semi. So actually, this box is actually from a Civic sedan. And basically, I just kind of like made it up the metal pipe to it that comes from the eBay intake, and then you can see my duct goes into there.
Which is pretty cool. I like the way the duct just goes in there.
Yeah, so you can see the piping just goes straight in, and actually creates positive pressure, so which is really cool. So technically, theoretically, it creates boost. In theory, at like 80 miles per hour.
In theory, you're boosted?
In theory.
Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, I don't know, probably like 0.1 bar, but it's something.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
what are the future plans for the engine bay?
Like I said, you know, yeah, maybe clean it up a bit. Look how nasty this is, you know. Every time I had a chance to clean this thing up, I ended up it was in a hurry, you know. I built this car so fast with certain aspects that, yeah, I need to clean this up. I mean,
it's a 31-year-old car, and some people drive 2017 and they look worse than this. So don't trip, man. This is absolutely, that's what we want. You take it to the track, you take it to the canyons, you drive on the street. I don't know. This is exactly what we want. We want the car to be driven, and we want the cars to be safe.
I don't want to have to care for the engine bay all the time, man. I'm sorry. It's just...
Nah, it's cool.
I don't know.
If this was to give up, any, you know, major plans on a different type of motor, or you would go with the same?
You know, well, okay, I have to go with the same, unfortunately, just because if I get safe refed again, I don't want to get... That whole process was just a nightmare. Yeah. It was just a nightmare, and it really sucks I had to go through it. I probably would go back to B20, actually. I think that because the B20 block is pretty much the same as this, I could get away with it. Gotcha. So I'll probably end up going B20, actually. And yeah, that's just, don't tell the government that. Yeah.
Big shout out to the homies that don't run barred.
Yeah, big shout out to you guys, because, you know,
seriously.
I'm the one who got shafted by the system, so.
All right, Eryck, thank you so much, man, for making time for us. Absolutely love what you've done to this EF.
Thank you.
I like the fact that you're creating parts for it, keeping the car alive, keeping the chassis alive, and yeah, man, welcome to the club. We love old boxy cars that leak oil. I don't care. So tell us, man, any shout outs?
You know, yeah, I have a big list of shout outs, and I'll probably forget everyone because, you know, you're on the moment, but First off, to my dad, because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't even get this car, and I wouldn't have the skills and and knowledge to do something like this. I would like to thank my mom, of course, because she has to put up with my shit, excuse my language, for this. I mean, I painted this car. I painted this car in the house, last June, and oh man, that was something. My friend Deacon, because he had the original EF that got me into this, so thanks to him. I mean, he also helped me work on this car. My friend Kyle Kaufman from work, he helped me swap this motor in a day to get it ready for the state ref. So that was, oh man, that was really awesome. We got it all done in a day. Yeah.
Oh my God.
My girlfriend, she's helped me with this car, helped me install the brakes. She actually helped me buy the Willwood brakes, which is awesome.
Keep her.
Yeah, I love her very much. Man, there's so many other people. I mean, all the guys from the Honda community have been really cool, helping me get some parts and stuff like that. So just all the guys that from my Instagram and all that, I really appreciate. There's a lot of guys that help me out. I want to thank Daniel M. He helped me learn how to paint this car. I used to bug him, gave you some tips. He's a friend from elementary school. The list really does go on. I got to say, a lot of people have helped me, build this car. I mean, I have my neighbors help me. Leo, Robert. Help me, F with the gas tank when that was going bad and stuff like that. Help me put the motor in for the original B20.
Nice.
There's a lot more. I'm sorry for forgetting everyone. I really do. Everyone who's helped work on this car meant a lot, and I can't express my gratitude enough. It means a lot, because overall, building this car by yourself sometimes it's tough. My friend Robbie, one of my closest friends, he actually helped me get the, went to the junkyard and got the actual knuckles for the engine swap.
Nice.
So yeah, I really appreciate that, helping me with there. The
list goes on and on.
Really
so anybody
does.
who's helped out,
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait to see this car on the road for 36 years more. 35. I mean, it's definitely a classic now, and you have one, and it's in very good condition because you have got it in good condition, man. So nothing but love, man. Thank you so much for making time for us. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for building an EF, because we definitely need more EFs in the street.
Yes, definitely.
And can't wait for the future plans, man.
Yeah, no, there for sure stuff will be coming up. Minor stuff. Mainly just like improvements on certain things. That'll be it. Yeah. So there's for sure there's stuff coming out for this car.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man.